Hi. So, um, I went to the doctor, and as it turns out, I have bronchitis and a sinus infection, and my rosacea's acting up some. I don't know if you could see. This side is really red. This side's not as much, but this is like right here, especially, is really red. Um, but yeah, so that is what we are dealing with right now. I am on a Z-Pack and I am on a round of steroids. You know, the steroids where they do like for 7 days or 6 days, you do like the first day you do like 6 or 7 pills. The next day, every day you go down one pill until it's done. That's what I'm on right now. Um, and steroids make me feel nauseous. They make me feel dizzy. They just, I don't do well when I am on a high dose of steroids. Most people don't, but I really, since that darn Rona caught up with me in 2020 or the end of 2019, I have regularly gotten these respiratory issues. I've gotten these sinus issues, things that I've never dealt with. The diabetes now, the migraines came back, like all of these things. And the more I research it, the more that I find not only is it long Rona, which sucks, it that also opens the doors to other things like type 2 diabetes, like hypo or hyperthyroidism, which I now, as they say now that I have hypothyroidism. It just triggers things that you may not have ever dealt with before. So please know that if that's something that you're dealing with, I understand and I'm there with you, and I'm praying for you because being sick is for the birds. This is no fun. So, first things first, remember we started back on June 19th. I take my weekly dose on Wednesdays. So I was keeping track of like what symptoms I was getting and all of that. However, I stopped doing that once I became really sick. Although I am still tracking like the day and time that I'm taking my injection and where on my body I'm taking my injection. And I'm so sorry for my voice. It's going in and out. So it's getting higher and then it's getting lower and then it's getting, I don't know. But I am very sorry. I'm trying to work through it and trying not to, grate on your nerves. Um, I can say that I did not notice this until this Wednesday on the 3rd of July. Tuesday night, like very, very late at night, it was probably like midnight. I was like, I think I'm craving some cheesecake. I didn't think nothing of it. I went to bed. Then Wednesday, not like first thing in the morning or anything, but eventually, sometime during the day, I realized I was still craving cheesecake. And I went back, mentally went back, and I said, wait a minute. Since I started Mounjaro, my 2.5 milligrams of Mounjaro that I literally just begun, I haven't been on for a whole month yet, I have not craved anything. I have not had much of an appetite. Again, I've also been sick, so that might have something to do with it, but I have not craved anything. And I am a sugar fiend. I'm a sugarholic. I 100% admit that. I don't pretend that I'm not an addict to sugar because I am. And I regularly, daily crave some sort of sugar fix. And I realized I had not had any cravings at all for almost, 3 weeks? Almost one whole week. Like let's call it 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, because on Tuesday night, so the night before my third injection, is when I all of a sudden realized I was craving cheesecake. And then on Wednesday, not only were the cravings back, I realized I was hungry. I was hungry for the first time in 2 weeks. Like, I hadn't felt any mental or physical hunger at all. And all of a sudden, it's back. Granted, my sleep has been all over the place. I haven't been able to sleep because I've been coughing so much. It's keeping me awake. Like, I've been coughing so much that it is causing me to basically vomit. And it's just, mostly that just happens at night when I'm trying to sleep. So it's been very, very difficult. So I've been all over the place. And now on Friday, I went to the doctor, and then I started the Z-Pack, and I started the antibiotics. I started something called Montelukast, basically singular, because the doctor told me that with my sinus infection and with the bronchitis, my asthma is causing me to become prone to the allergens in the air at a higher rate than normal, which I already suffer from seasonal allergies. In here in Texas, there's no such thing as seasonal. It's like yearly. She switched my daily seasonal allergy pill from I was taking Zyrtec to Montelukast, which is, I guess, the generic name for singular. And then I'm taking a cough medicine at night that because she was in a Benetite, I think it's called, the little yellow pills. They don't work for me. I've been on them a few times. People swear by them, but they do not work for me. They do not suppress my cough, which I know I'm not supposed to suppress my cough during the day. Supposed to try to get it all out of my lungs, which I do, and it's miserable and I hate it. But at night, I can't sleep because I can't stop coughing. So she was like, okay, we'll give you a cough medicine that will help you sleep. It'll suppress the cough enough to get you to fall asleep. And once you fall asleep, you should be able to stop coughing. So that's what I've been doing. But on the steroids, I don't know if I feel worse on steroids or without them, but I think it's because it's just such a high dose that I don't feel good. But that's a different kind of not feel good. So the other thing that I noticed is that there are a ton, like I have been all over the GLP-1 communities here on YouTube, and every single place that I go, everybody is like touting these smart scales along with smart measuring tapes for your body. I knew that I wanted to get a measuring tape. I knew I wanted to get something like this that you would put on, say, your wrist, let's just say, and then you can do this sort of thing, and you could see the size of your wrist right here, or whatever body part you're needing to measure, so that you can keep track of measurements, because I do not believe that the scale is the only way to keep track of that. But every single one stops at 60 inches. 60 inches sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, and it's big, but it's not big enough for me. So I had to find something that I can use that was bigger than 60 inches. This was the biggest one that I could find. Sorry. And this one goes to 80 inches. And I could not find anything bigger than that. I didn't know whether or not I was going to need anything. I did not know whether or not I would need anything bigger than that. I just knew that, I'm not a standard size person. I can't deal with this standard size body measuring tape. I just need something bigger. So I did start keeping track. And I did this. Shoot, I need to write the date down. Hold on, because I did it the exact same day that the measuring tape was delivered. July 2nd. Oh, so I did it on Tuesday, July 2nd. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, because this was Monday. I just didn't put the T for Tuesday. So that's when I did these measurements. So Okay. And again, I stopped measuring the the um like side effects that I've been getting because I had no idea whether or not any of them were due to the medication or the fact that I had been ill or even the depot because I started depot and Mounjaro the exact same day. I started depot at like 9:30 in the morning and then I started the Mounjaro like at 3:30 in the morning. So I know that the rash on my body that I got was from the depot. That I know because I had it before I even took the Mounjaro shot. So there's no way that that could have been from Mounjaro unless it was like a psychic rash. Like the rash came psychically. Like, oh, we know you're gonna take this today. Let's break out. No. So I know that that was from the depot, and I don't know if it was actually from the depot or if it was from because I'm allergic to latex and I'm allergic to a lot of adhesives that they use. Like, when they give you a shot, they usually put a band-aid, something like that. So I'm allergic to a lot of those latexes. No, adhesives. I'm allergic to a lot of those adhesives. So it could have been from any of those things. I don't know, but I 100% know it wasn't from Mounjaro. Now, so because I didn't start my measuring on the first day and I started it 2 weeks later, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it. I'm going to call this month. What I think I might do. I don't know. What do you think? What should I do? So I'll give you the measurements for now and then we'll go from there. Now, I did also notice after, but it made sense once I looked, that it starts at 2 inches. I don't know if you can see that. It starts at 2 inches. But I was like, why does it start at 2 inches? Like, where's the first 2 inches? But then I realized once you put it in here, when you measure this gap from here to here, this is 2 inches. So it would make sense that it would start at 2 inches because this piece right here is needs to be accounted for too. So if it starts at 1, it would essentially be lacking the 2 inches. So I don't know whether or not this is a faulty one or if it's really supposed to start at 2 inches. It just mentally, it makes sense to me. So I'm only going to go by the numbers off of this one. So if I end up measuring off of a different one or whatever, I'll just make sure that they're like exactly the same. But for now, is what's going to work for me. And it does start at 2 inches. So take that as you will. So every single thing that I did on my body, I did it on the left side because I'm right-handed. So it was just easier for me. But my waist was 66 inches. My belly at the belly button was 79 and 3. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I don't know how to use measuring tapes that well. So I don't know if you see how it says 2 and then it's 1, 2, 3. So I know these are like what, I guess a centimeter, quarter inch, something. I don't know what they are. So I just counted them 1, 2, 3, and that's what I'm counting. So when I say 3, that's what I'm talking about. The little third space. So it was 79 and 3. My wrist was 7 and 2. My neck was 16 and 5. My thigh was 30 and 3. My knee at my kneecap was 19 and 6. My ankle was 9 and 6. My arm, and I did my arm like this. So I put my arm up and I did it right here. So that was 20 and 4. And then my elbow was 12. I don't know how to measure my body. So I don't know whether or not these are the points of your body you're supposed to be measuring. I tried to look into it a bit. I did notice, the common things were like the waist, the belly, the neck, somewhere on your forearm. I mean, your tricep, I guess. I guess this is your tricep. I don't know. What I thought about after was I probably should have done my bust and I didn't do that. Maybe I'll do that right now because I just spaced and I didn't do it. So let's do it right now. And then you guys can see like how I'm doing it. So I do have a bra on, obviously, and I'm doing it at the most protruding point of my chest, I guess. This is upside down, so, but we are at, hold on. So what I try to do is I push the button until it does not suck up anymore. Because like, if you do it like this, it's just way too much. So I just push the button until it's done sucking. And we are at 62, whoops, 62.1. So it kind of came out a little bit, but do you see the 62? Come on, focus. Okay, 62, and then the very first one. So that's where we're at. So we'll include that as bust for 62 and 1. Okay. And then as of right now, because when I did go to the doctor, I weighed in. What I made sure to do was weigh in here, which, okay, now my scales have gone berserk even more because the one in my other bathroom was weighing me 30 pounds less. 30 freaking pounds less. So I want to say the batteries are 9. So I'll replace the batteries in that one. But this one, the one that's been doing the double or the triple or the more than one weight, and they're always off by a couple of points. It's never off by like a tremendous amount, not even a whole pound, but off by like a point. And it doesn't tell you what time. So I don't really know, but we came in at 351.5. And when I was at the doctor, I weighed in at 351. So when I weighed in my very, very first time there, it was already later in the day. I had already eaten, all of that stuff. Whereas I weigh in the mornings here after after I've released my bladder and I haven't eaten or drank anything, I go straight to the scale. So that's what I did in the morning. And I also did not eat or drink anything, went straight to the doctor and weighed in there, and they were the exact same weight. So I don't know how to go by that because I was 364 the day that I got the Mounjaro. And then within, 15, 20 minutes, I ended, or maybe I would say maybe a half an hour, maybe even within an hour from when I weighed in initially to when I picked up the medication to when I got home and injected it, but I didn't weigh in at home. I didn't think about it. So I was 364 there. And then that day I was 351. So this morning or Friday morning. So 2 weeks and like 2 days. So that's 13 pounds. So 13 pounds in 2 weeks. We're just going to call it that. So again, I'm not sure how we are going to do this, but I guess what I'll do is Wednesday before I go to the doctor, not this coming Wednesday, but next Wednesday. Actually, I'm trying to get it to where I can go this coming Wednesday because I have been so sick that I haven't been to work. So I do have to get a letter done for short-term disability so that I can be okay with work stuff. Because I literally couldn't do it. So I didn't. And so I'm trying to get it changed from this week because otherwise I can't go back to work until I get that done. And I don't want to miss 2 weeks of work. I'd rather just miss a week and a half instead of 2.5 weeks, because I don't get paid. And that's hard. But anyways, so as of right now, we are on week 3.5 of Mounjaro at 2.5. Because I do now 1,000 million % recognize that it 100% did remove the food noise. It removed the constant thought of sugar, the constant thought of, just, if you don't know what food noise is, you're very lucky. I mean, you may not know the term, but you may understand what it means. Food noise, the best way that I can really describe it would be Now, I used to think that I just had this chatter in my head because I'm the one who cooks. I'm the one who does the grocery shopping. I'm the, yes, David will go if I like, hey, if he calls me and says, hey, I really feel like having blah, blah, blah for dinner and I'm missing an ingredient or two. And I just tell him, hey, I already started work or whatever. Can you just pick up, the cheese or bread because I can make the food, but I'm just missing this particular ingredient. Can you just pick it up because I can't leave? And he'll pick that up, but he doesn't really do the grocery shopping. I do. I do the grocery shopping. I cook. I do all of that stuff. So I always thought the constant chatter in my head about food was more because I'm the primary cook in the home. I'm the primary, caretaker of that. So for me, I was like, well, that's why it's always on my mind because, it takes all day. Like if you're gonna go, if he tells me, hey, I feel like having chicken and rice today, I probably don't have chicken thought out. I probably might not even have chicken in the house. I probably have to go to the store and buy chicken. But if he wants it like in a certain way, like, oh, I want, can you do a stir fry chicken or can you do whatever? Then I have to get chicken. I have to get whatever type of vegetable he wants, whatever, I have to go to the store. I have to consciously make an effort to remember to buy the certain ingredients that he needs. Then I have to come home and then I have to start preparing it. I have to, prep it and I have to cook it and I have to season it and I have to like taste it and be like, is this good? And even if it's something I don't like, I have to constantly be thinking about it. So I always thought that's part of what it was. But, and it probably is part of it, but it is 100% not all of it. Yeah, now, like over the last couple of weeks outside of right now, because right now it's not 100% back. It's not. It is still muted, but it is not at the level that it was when I very first began, a week or two ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, we're like 3.5 weeks now because today's Saturday. So at that point, I was like, okay, I know people who we could be at lunch at work and they're already talking about what they want for dinner or what they're going to get for dessert or, and I can understand that. Like if it's a special occasion and you guys are going out to go eat or something like that, I can understand that. But if you're eating in the moment, why are you still thinking about food later? That's food noise. That's what food noise is. Food noise is you can be eating something like we went today to Central Market and we got Central Market here in Texas is like Whole Foods pretty much throughout the US. I don't really know of another establishment that I can compare it to that works well, but I think Whole Foods is a very comparable option. They sell like a salad by the pound, so you can make your own salad. They have a salad bar and you can make it. And David was like, let's get a salad. I wasn't really that hungry. I was like, because we had chorizo and eggs for breakfast. Yes, I ate some. I probably ate, like he served me and it was 2 pieces of bread and he served me 2 pieces of bread and he served me like, the ladle that you cook with. He served me like, I would say a good, a heaping portion of a ladle. And then he sprinkled some cheese on top. And I ate 1 piece of bread and I just kind of like put the chorizo and egg inside and then ate it like a hot dog. And I didn't even finish all the bread. And I was done. I was full. I didn't want no more. And I was like, I'm good. And he was like, you hardly ate anything. I was like, but I'm not really hungry because I don't really eat in the mornings. I'm never really hungry that early in the morning. Or like right when I wake up. And so that's why I didn't cook because I wasn't awake. He was awake and he was hungry, so he cooked. And then he came and got me up and I was like, okay. And I knew we had some things to do today. So I was like, all right, I'll just get up. So I wasn't really that hungry. So we had ate that and I would say maybe 2 hours go by and then we went to Central Market. So he got a salad and he said, well, then let's share it. I said, okay, we can do that because I'm not really that hungry. And so I served myself and I even took a picture of it and I did not eat anymore. But I did take a picture, and my friend was asking, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So I sent her the picture of what I ate for salad. I'll insert the picture here. But that's what I ate for lunch. And she was like, you spent $10 on that? I was like, no. He bought a container of salad. That's what I served myself, and that's what I ate, and I'm fine, you know? And so a lot of that is gone. A lot of the like overdoing it part is gone. The overeating aspect is gone. But I am trying to make a conscious effort to change the types of food that I'm eating. There was nothing wrong with the salad. I didn't even eat salad dressing on it. I just used lemon juice. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with eating a salad. To me, there's nothing wrong with eating, eggs and chorizo. Chorizo, if you don't know what it is, it's like a Mexican sausage. So it's like having sausage and egg for breakfast, right? But it's just like scrambled together. And so imagine like if you got a sausage, like breakfast sausage, either the patty or the links, and you just like ground it up like ground beef, and then you just scrambled it with egg. That's what it is. It just has extra seasoning in it. It just has like spicier, not even spicy, not spicy, but it just has different seasonings in it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I had a slice of bread, not even the whole slice. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Could it have been better options? Maybe. But I don't think there's anything wrong with what I ate. And I definitely have not overeaten. And so I was like, okay. Although I was in a grocery store, nothing looked like super enticing. Nothing was like, oh, I have to have that. The only thing that we went for was because I had watched something where somebody had made like a sweet potato, and I'm not a big fan of sweet potatoes, but they used Japanese sweet potatoes, and they talked about how like they're not a big fan of the yellow sweet potato either, or orange or whatever color it is. But this one was really good, and it made me want to try it. And I saw that Central Market had it, so we went over there and we got it. And especially because David likes the sweet potatoes, so I thought maybe he would like it. And so we got 2 sweet potatoes, one for each of us, just to try it. And then, like when we were going through the store, they were offering samples of certain things. I did try a yogurt from France that was super good. But it like after I ate the little bite that they gave me. I wasn't like, I need more, I need more, because I get like that, like the constant in my head is like constantly just thinking about food, or like, oh, let me grab another one, or, what else can I eat, or whatever. Something is always going on in my head about food. What can we have for dessert? What can we have for, but we went through the grocery store, and he was talking about what he wanted to make for tomorrow. And we have gotten in the past these blueberry sausages that they make. So they're like a hot link. So, they're like a hot dog size sausage. So it's not like a breakfast sausage, but it tastes like a breakfast sausage because it has blueberries in it. And this time I didn't say it, but I've seen it before where it says maple blueberry sausage, but this time it just said blueberry sausage. And so I was like, well, maybe it's different, but they were really good. And so when he seen it, he wanted to try it. And he was like, oh, let's get that again, because, we've had it before, and he really liked it. So I was like, okay. But nothing was like, Delilah, come buy me. Sorry, the SD card filled up. So for me, that was so just like different, because I've never experienced a time outside of these last couple weeks where food just wasn't like on my mind, or I didn't see something in a grocery store and think, damn, I gotta try that, like, man, that looks good. Nothing like that. There was nothing like that. Nothing was calling me. Nothing was saying, Delilah, you gotta get me. Delilah, try me. Nothing. Nothing. I can't explain that to you. If you've never had that constant in your head about food, you won't understand, but I'm amazed. I'm in awe over this. And I'm just so grateful that I took a chance and I didn't allow myself to chicken out, and I didn't allow myself to be so scared to try something that I pray is so beneficial to me, because everything that I've been reading since I started doing it, I said, I already started doing it. So what's the difference? I might as well know things about it. I might as well scratch that itch of having the information that I need. And and all the things that I'm learning about GLP-1s and the GIP, which is what Mounjaro is. Mounjaro replicates two receptors, as opposed to semaglutides that only replicate one, which is the GLP-1, which, is sort of an umbrella term that all weight loss medication is sort of thrown into this like umbrella of GLP-1, but really Mounjaro is GLP-1 plus GIP. And I'm reading about how this is even helping people who have other, like me, I'm a compulsive shopper. Part of the bipolar disorder is being compulsive, being spontaneous, and compulsive shopping is one of the things that I do outside of something like this, which I really see this as a need, as opposed, I mean, is it a need, a true need? No. Is it beneficial for my brain when I stop seeing numbers on the scale move? Yes. So it is something, and it was like $6, like $5-6. I mean, come on. However, I have many, many, many times said, that it was only $20. It was only $30. It was only $6. Who cares? But it's just part of the compulsive shopping habits. And what I'm reading is that a lot of people like me who have other addictions to maybe alcohol, to gambling, just other things, are also finding that that constant addiction noise is quieted in them. Wow, what a blessing. So I don't anticipate that GLP-1s are going to be, disappearing anytime soon. I really feel like they're going to start bombarding the market for other things too. And I'm just so grateful that I have the opportunity to experience this and to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It is not a magic pill. It is not going to do all the work for me, but it is going to help. And the number one thing that I need to do is continue to work on my relationship with food, which is why I started therapy last Wednesday, in fact. The day I took my last dose, I started therapy over my eating disorders, which, although you guys know, I'm very open about my therapy and I'm very open about my mental health. I've been in therapy forever. I first started therapy when I was 7, so I've been on and off in therapy for many, many years for various things. And I have never, ever addressed my relationship with food. Never been able to. But I said, I've been given this opportunity to change my life. And if I don't get to the root cause in here, then this is all going to be for nothing. Because I've been down this road before. I have many times lost a significant amount of weight, more than 150 pounds before, more than once. And I sabotaged myself eventually because I'm scared of the attention. I'm scared of people noticing me. I'm scared of not being invisible anymore. I'm scared. I'm scared of losing weight and no longer having this invisibility cloak that I have put upon my body. if I'm going to make these changes last, then I have to do something about that. I hope that you are also making the necessary changes that you make. Yes, being given this medication is very, very helpful, but you have to do the work too, just like I do. You have to change the way that you eat. You have to change your relationship with food that brought you here to the first place. Is obesity a disease? Yes, but we ultimately are the ones putting that food in our mouth. Do I have insulin resistance in my body? Yes. Is it through type 2 diabetes? It has never been in the past. This is a very, very recent new diagnosis for me. However, with the PCOS, that also causes insulin resistance. So I'm already prone to it in other ways. And the studies that are being shown on the inflammation aspects of the GLP-1s and what it does for inflammation is just amazing right now. Like, this could also help with that. Wow. And you guys know that I have an autoimmune disease that is an inflammation autoimmune disease. We don't know what it is. It has no name that they know of yet. But you see how it's like swollen right here? I get swollen, especially like this. You could always see it in my hands. This one's always worse. But I get it in my knees. I get it. It's not rheumatoid arthritis. They did check me for it. It's not. But I do get it like in other parts of my body, my elbows, like that I've seen. Like I've never seen it anywhere else. But these never go away. The ones in my hands never go away. They just get bigger or they get smaller, but it never goes away. And to know that this might possibly be able to help with that too. It's such a blessing to know that I was able to get, placed on this medication where my insurance does cover a significant cost, and it's not detrimental to my finances to be able to pay my copay. Whereas some people, even in the past when I wasn't approved before and it was $1,800, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done that if my literal life depended on it. $1,800 a month, and my literal life does depend on it. It really does. And I couldn't have paid it. I couldn't. It's more than my mortgage. I don't have a car payment, but it's more than my mortgage plus David's car payment. I couldn't have done that. So if you are also in the same boat as me and you are blessed to be able to have your hands on this medication, I pray that you don't squander this opportunity and you take advantage of it to its full effect by working in here. This injection is not going to only work on your body. It's not going to take away the root of why we turn to food. It's not going to take away the root of why I turn to food. It's not going to take away the fact that I'm an emotional eater. That when I'm upset or hurting or crying, I turn to food, in a way that most children would have turned to their parents. I didn't have that opportunity, so I turned to food. It's not going to change that for me. It might help with it, but it's not going to heal that. I have to heal that. So I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope none of you are dealing with other illnesses. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing much better than me. But I also want to hear about it. Please remember, leave the comment down below of your wins for the week, your struggles. I just want to give you virtual hugs and be there for you through the good and the bad. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye.